Okay, guys. Hello. Okay, so I missed yesterday's live and I thought about getting on here at 11 o'clock at night last night after putting my little one to bed. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I want to kind of just talk through what I've been working on at the Empire Effect Agency, which also explains why I missed yesterday's live. So yesterday was very, very, very productive. And what I'm doing is I'm currently helping multiple clients with either campaigns or launches. And so one of the biggest things that I'm working on right now is helping one of my nonprofit clients manage a multi-state fundraising campaign. And it's not just a fundraising campaign where people just go online and donate, but it's also attached to a event. So we're doing a walk, and the walk is in, I believe it's 11 states now. Like it's six main states, but it has turned into 11 states. And so I am behind the scenes managing all of the communications and logistics of all of those different events. And so I've been working behind the scenes, sending emails, making sure the city leads know exactly what they need to do, what they need to, have for today, because the walk is actually today. And so we are like literally in celebration mode because we've already exceeded our goal, our fundraising goal, and we still have time to push, right? Because the event is this evening. And so that's what I was working on yesterday because today's the day. And then I'm also supporting a launch that has generated almost, it's probably 300 leads by now. But in less than 3 weeks, she's generated 300 leads. And this is only through posting once a day on social media. She is not running ads. She didn't have an email list to start with. This has become her email list. So, and I'm gonna get y'all into a little bit behind the scenes, but I just want to kind of summarize what I'm all working on. And so, the fundraising campaign, which is a multi-event walk that's happening today, and then a launch that started from a skill set and turned and was gonna actually go into a digital product, but ended up being a challenge. We'll talk about that more. And then also, I'm preparing two initiatives inside of the Empire Effect Agency, which I'll get into more. So today, I actually want to talk about what it looks like behind the scenes when you're managing multiple launches, when you're managing multiple campaigns, when you have multiple deadlines across multiple clients and you're moving pieces at the same time. And so this is definitely going to help you as a CEO and a founder because you're always managing multiple things at once. But then also, if you're someone who is a operations manager, online business manager, a virtual assistant, an executive assistant, this might help you as well. And this isn't going to be a live where I'm getting into the nitty gritty of like project management, event coordination, and walking you through a project plan or a launch plan. I'm not doing it. I'm just talking through like behind the scenes of like how I'm able to do it all. Okay. And so understand you can have multiple things happening at once. I know we sometimes want to focus on one thing, but if you're thinking about, if you have, let's say you have a grant, let's say you've been awarded multiple grants as a nonprofit founder, and these grants are all toward different things. You still have to deliver on what you proposed in that grant. And so, yeah, you may be working on a back to school drive here, but then you still have to be planning that other program. You know what I'm saying? You can't just cold turkey cut off one and focus on that, if that makes sense. And so that it's possible for you to have multiple things happening at once. Simply, you just have to know what is happening. There needs to be a level of visibility on what is happening, who is responsible for it, and then when everything is needing to be done. The deadlines need to be visible, and then you need to know what can be handled before you ever get to the lunch, before you ever get to the event, right? And so first, let me tell y'all what I was actually doing yesterday. Okay. Again, the fundraising campaign that I'm working on for my nonprofit client is connected to walks that are happening across 11 states with multiple cities involved in those states. Okay. And so think over 12 to 15 different locations are participating in this particular walk. And today is event day. So later this evening, we'll even be leading up we're leading up a location here where I am. And so today's event day. So I've been this morning on a Saturday communicating with walkers, communicating with city leads. I'm celebrating with my CEO because we exceeded our fundraising goal for this particular fundraiser. And the beautiful part about it is because it's Black Philanthropy Month, the money that we raise is actually going to be matched. And so that is also a reason for us to celebrate. And so we're trying to celebrate, but we're also like making sure everybody has what they need and everything goes well, making sure people are taking their pictures, making sure people are posting and tagging us on social media, making sure that the city leads have their flyers and things of that nature so they can, if people are looking like, what are all these people doing out here wearing their black, yellow, teal, and pink? Like, oh, here's a flyer. Learn more about what 1 and 4 is doing, right? And so here I am, I'm behind the scenes. So yesterday and today, I'm confirming meeting locations. I'm letting people know their meeting times because I have people in the inbox and they're like, hey, can you remind me what time we're meeting for this particular location? And so I'm managing the logistics and communicating those details to people who are in the inbox asking, while also making sure people are being reminded. And so we're doing that. Also confirming expectations, timing, supplies, and all the final details. And remember also, so we're supporting city leads, the registrants who are coming to walk, but then also all of the donors who have helped us exceed our goals. We're also thinking about, those communications and things of that nature, making sure they're being updated on, hey guys, you guys just helped us exceed our goal. And so been doing a lot of that yesterday. And then again, I'm giving my executive director visibility into this is how many registrants that we have. These are the people that are going to be in your location so that she's aware of who signed up for her particular location so she can know, what to expect and manage her expectations. And then we're talking about fundraising results and what's happening across locations. And so that's what I was doing yesterday. That's part of what I was doing yesterday. And so understand that operations can get very real. You know what I'm saying? When the thing you've been planning for weeks or months is finally happening. And so, it may be like a cool little breeze as you're planning and you're getting everything together. You're making sure your survey is together. You're making sure you have people in place to support this vision that you have. But then there's still a lot that's happening behind the scenes. And one of the things that I love to do to help me manage multiple launches, campaigns across multiple clients is keep it simple. Keep it simple because I think sometimes people think like, oh, in order for it to be successful, I have to go all out. In order for this thing to work, I need to do the most. And that's actually not true. You can start on the level that you're at and you can keep it very simple. And that's one of the things that I love about this particular client is because we can keep things simple and we're not overdoing it for the sake of people seeing that we overdid it. And so we're keeping things simple. And because doing a multi-state event should be very much complicated. We should be pulling our hair out by now. But by the grace of God, we're not doing any of that because everything had a clear plan from the beginning. We already had our timeline set. We already knew what locations we were going to prioritize. And then we made it simple for other people who wanted to participate to join in the most simplest way. And so if you want to be able to manage things, you need to have a clear plan. You need to know who's doing what You need to know when everything is required, what is required, and then you need to focus on simplicity. Focus on simplicity, because this is literally like a two-team show over here. It's two-team show, and then we have volunteers that city leads, and then we have board members who have been stepping up to help us lead the charge in this space. And so things are going well. Okay. Now, that was yesterday and today. At the same time, okay, I'm helping someone prepare for a lunch. So this person is doing a 30-day challenge, and it's all about, trading with ease. Okay. How can you trade with ease? If you know anything about trading, trading can become very complex really fast, with everybody having multiple strategies, with everybody, you know, having indicators, and you look at these charts and you like, what is this red thing and this green thing? Some people stuff be pink and white. Like, it's like, what is going on here? And so it's a lot of intricacies when it comes to understanding the charts. Um, don't get me started when people have all these lines over the place, okay? And it's like, it can get very complex for people who don't have a lot of time to devote to learning this skill. And so um I've been helping her launch this challenge where she's about to make trading very easy for people. And I know the strategy teach because she's already taught it to me and my family. And it's easy. Okay. It's so simple. It's so simple. Your child can do it. Okay. And so I'm on the back end helping her. And so I'm going to tell y'all the waitlist story, because what originally started out was digital products. Okay. We were just going to do digital products for her. And so I remember she had sent me the link a few weeks ago to the stand store with the digital products already set up. And as I was looking, I literally hit her up. I said, you should take off the digital products and put up a wait list. And let me tell you the power of execution, because sometimes people tell y'all like exactly what y'all should do instead. And because you think you know best, or because you don't want to do something, you don't. And you miss out. Now, this girl goes and do what I recommend. Okay. Because I can't tell her what to do. I can only give her advice, recommend, consult. And so I told her, you should put up a wait list instead. She put up the wait list. She started posting every day on social media. And in less than 10 days, her wait list is at 250 people. In less than, this girl does not have an email list. She does not have a huge following on social media. In fact, she realized she couldn't even go live on a platform because she didn't have enough followers. And so this is a small follower count, like literally, I don't even know if it's more than 1,000 at this point. So a small follower account, no email list. Like, she is not a guru in this industry, even though she knows these skills and can teach it. And she's doing things behind the scenes that people do publicly. And so she puts up this wait list. In less than 10 days, she's at 250. She literally hit me up this morning and it was at like 299. So I'm sure by now it's surpassed that. And we're like, what? What? The thing works when you work it, people. The thing works when you work it. And so that's the power of execution. That's the power of getting wise counsel and having someone come in to help you um, work through your launches and your campaigns. Even if they're not doing anything, get you someone who can consult you on something because they know what they're talking about. And so those numbers, 250 leads in less than 10 days, is crazy. And then I'm gonna see if I can show y'all, because she literally messaged me this morning. I got notifications popping up. This was early this morning. So y'all know this was early this morning. 299 leads, and it was 745 store views. That was this morning. It's probably beyond it by now. This is a girl who had no email list. She had a skill we turned this into a live experience, a challenge, and we used a wait list. Okay. And so she was originally considering digital products. We turned it into a wait list because she was like, man, I feel like there's a high demand. I said, so let's do a wait list instead of digital products. And then the digital products now become the upsell or downsell to the people who don't want to pay for the actual challenge. Okay. So I want to talk to you all briefly about what needs to exist before cart opens. So if you're launching, because this is how I help people manage multiple launches. This is how I manage multiple launches across multiple clients and my own initiatives and campaigns that I'm working on internally in my own business. And so over the course of 3 to 4 weeks, we've been talking through this particular launch. We've been talking about what needs to happen. We've been talking about launch plans, all of the things. And so I won't get into like the nitty gritty, but I'm just going to kind of talk through like some of the things that we've been working on with her for the past 3 weeks. And so, of course, you have your sales pages and things of that nature. So we actually went the VSL route. So a video sales letter, which is basically a landing page that has a video explaining what you're selling. And then you, of course, you have the copy, and then people can make a decision on what they're gonna do next, right? They can purchase or what have you. Um, we've been working through payment processes. In the midst of her also using this launch to establish a new business, particularly for this. And so also registering a new organization. She's doing her LLC stuff. We've been talking about DBAs. We've been talking about business bank accounts versus personal bank accounts. So we've been talking about all of these things. We've been breaking down like emails, because when you're doing a wait list, there's emails that you need to have for your wait list. And then there's emails that you need to have for the people who move forward and purchase, right? At open cart enrollment period, you got to have a certain set of emails for them. And then once you're in challenge mode, you don't want to just dismiss all the people who's on your wait list but didn't join the challenge. You still need to now think through nurturing emails for them as well. And so we're thinking about all of those things, the emails. We're thinking about, okay, it's a challenge. Where are we hosting this challenge? And from there, what does the communication look like? What does the community look like? What is that client experience once they join a challenge? So we're thinking through the course platform and how are we building this community? What are going to be the features even within the community's platform? Are we going to allow them to talk and do all of the things? Or are we keeping it simple? Because remember when I was talking about the fundraising event, simplicity wins. When you try to over promise and over deliver at the same time, like, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Understand your capacity. Okay. You have to understand your capacity when it comes to managing multiple things, because if not, you're going to overwhelm yourself. You're going to get burnt out, and it's going to be hard, especially when you have something that you're doing and it's like you haven't put a cutoff on how many people can participate. And so we've been thinking about that, but then also the content. Remember, all of these leads are being generated through organic content, posting videos every day about what she's going to be talking about during this challenge. And so thankfully, she is a beast when it comes to editing and content creation. And so she's been able to literally get all of these leads strictly through organic content, posting reels on social media. And so not only is she thinking about the content day to day during this enrollment period or this waitlist period, she's also thinking about, okay, what is the content during the challenge? Is it going to be live? Is it going to be pre-recorded? Are we going to be meeting in person? Like, what is it? Because there's so many different types of launches, and you don't have to put yourself in a box. Okay. Like, we've just seen people make over $5 million on a launch that's strictly pre-recorded videos, one live session, all other things pre-recorded, multi seven figures. And so you don't have to say, oh, I'm going to show up live every single day for all 30 days of my challenge. No, keep that thing very, 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 very simple. Okay. And then you start thinking about kickoff. Okay. If the kickoff is going to be live or is it going to be pre recorded? If it's live, what are you talking about during this kickoff? How are you making sure that they know the date, the time, the location, the communication surrounding the kickoff? What is their call to action during the kickoff? What are you expecting them to do before the kickoff and then after the kickoff? All right, again, thinking about the live Q&A sessions that you're planning on doing. Are you planning on doing live Q&A sessions? Do these people have access to you or not? So we're thinking through all of these things, and then that doesn't even include, like, I sent her over a launch plan. I sent her over customer journey for this particular offer. And then we're talking about, okay, what tools are needed? What can be automated and what needs to be manual? Because we want to keep it simple. She's a one-person show. And then we're thinking through, like, the deadlines. Okay, we need to have this sent out by this time. People need to know about this for this time so they can have time to do this. And then still managing the DMs that are coming across social media with people asking questions or people wanting to, get the links now. Okay. And so I think that goes to the point. I make this point all the time across all of my videos. Like, marketing can bring people in. Marketing is visibility. Marketing is the thing that people see. So it's very aesthetically pleasing, or should be aesthetically pleasing. But operations still has to be in place, because if you can market to 14,000 people, right? And you have 14,000 people interested in what you're doing, but operations are not prepared behind the scenes, then your business won't be ready to handle them. So now you just built your email list, and now people forget that they even joined your email list 3 weeks later because you never sent anything when they joined it. You know what I'm saying? And so you always have to think about, like, yeah, there's a level of marketing you need to do when you're launching campaigns, but there also has to be an operational infrastructure in place that is the foundation. So when everyone comes in, the thing is not falling apart. Okay. And so I talked to y'all about my nonprofit client. We're doing a fundraiser, and it's a multi-state event that's literally happening today in like 5 to 7 hours, because it's different times across the different states, just depending on, sunset. And then I have my friend who I'm supporting with her launch, more so on the consulting side of things when it comes to her 30-day challenge that she's doing. All that plus, I've also been working on my own initiatives and my own launches that I am doing before the year ends. And so I'm actually doing two things. I'm doing the Stewards Desk, which is a 12-week co-working and accountability program, where for 12 weeks you're going to walk with me and I'm going to be your accountability coach. I am going to help you execute on the thing that you've been putting off for months, for years, for over a decade. And so we're going to get on there. We're going to do weekly co-working sessions. We're going to have micro trainings, 3 micro trainings per cohort. And then we're going to get the thing done. So there's going to be accountability check-ins and things of that nature. But this is all for people who have something that they want to do before the end of the year, and they want accountability so that they can actually get it done. And so that's that. VIP will have another level of access to me, because one of the things that I do naturally with, like, people who are close with me, who are starting businesses, who are like working on projects, whether it's a creative project or a personal project or what have you, like, we're always going back and forth using voice notes to, kind of walk through things, just because of my experience and the work that I do day to day. And so one-on-one VIP sessions are going to be like, okay, every single week they get to talk to me one-on-one about their specific thing, versus like general admission. They're more so able to just get the check-ins, but I'm not really kind of coaching them and giving them direct feedback on what they're working on. It's more so, hey, did you do it? Okay, go ahead and do it. Like, set a deadline, put it on your calendar, that kind of a thing. So I'm working on the steward's desk because that's gonna launch next month. And then I'm also working on the Build Without Burnout nonprofit edition because so I did Build Without Burnout solopreneur edition last year. And I learned so much. And because that infrastructure has already been set, I'm gonna do it for nonprofits because I've been working on a lot of nonprofit content and I'm seeing that there are needs. I've also been having a lot of virtual chats with nonprofit founders over the past couple of weeks. And I'm understanding a lot of their needs, with things that they don't even know that they should know in their industry or in their space. And so when I disappeared yesterday, I wasn't like twiddling my thumbs, watching YouTube videos or watching TV. No, my head was down. I was working through deliverables, through deadlines, through communication, and all of the different moving pieces across all of these different things that I'm working on in my business, but then also my clients are doing as well. Okay. So, say all that to say, this is why you need to have a clear vision before you start executing. So, when we're talking about how can I manage multiple launches and not be stressed out, how can I manage a lot of things without, first of all, it's the grace of God, period. Like, only God can allow this to happen. But it's also like starting with a clear vision. You write the vision and you make it plain, you make it simple, you make it easy. Okay. Easy. It should be done with ease. Okay. And so, when you're mapping out that vision, you want to start with what are you actually trying to accomplish? What are you actually trying to accomplish? So if I could talk about the walk that we're doing today, this is a fundraising campaign, but the event is a walk, okay, across multiple states. And so we start with what are we actually trying to accomplish? So we set a fundraising goal, and then we say, okay, this is the overall fundraising goal. This is why we're walking. This is the overall fundraising goal. These are going to be the states that we prioritize and we kind of head it up. And then we said for each state, we have our own event outcomes or our own individual fundraising goals per location to help us get to our overall goal. So we start with a vision. And then from there, we begin to walk through like the plan. So I created a deadline, like basically it wasn't even a full blown launch plan. It was just like, okay, what all needs to be done, who's doing it, and when does it need to happen. And so we started this maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago, mapping everything out. Probably wasn't even that long, honestly. And I came together, I put together like, okay, with this, what all do we need to think about? Who's going to be doing it? And then every week, what are we prioritizing? And then from there, weekly, we've been having meetings about, okay, where are we? What do we need to do? And if anything else came up, we've added it to the plan and we just got it done. And so, of course, the walk, we had a date set, we had our location set, and then we figured, oh, we can open this up to anybody. Anyone can take part in this no matter where they are. So let's make sure we're communicating that as well. We put multiple emails to go out in our Substack, newsletters, email, same thing. And so we sent out multiple or scheduled out multiple communications there. Multiple communications went out over social media. We had our city leads sharing it out, board members sharing it out. And then what else did we do? We posted it in our community. So we have a Mighty Network community. So we were sharing the information there and just, soliciting donations. And if people wanted to register to walk with us, they could do that. We had flyers done for all of our major locations. And then literally not being afraid to post. So, and I'll say that too, because sometimes when we're doing something, we don't want people to get tired of us, right? There's this fear of like, man, people gonna get tired of me saying the same thing, posting the same thing, asking for donations. And so we post one and we thought we launched something. And then we're upset and frustrated when we don't get the results that we were expecting, but you posted the flyer once. That's not a launch. And so literally my client for this sunset walk, we've been posting every single day. Like literally for this week, we posted every single day because I need y'all to know we're having this sunset walk and we have to reach this goal. And so we've exceeded the goal. We've exceeded the goal because we've been telling people about it across multiple platforms. We've been on LinkedIn, we've been on TikTok, we've been on Instagram, we've been on Threads, and we've been in Substack, and we're just posting about it. And we have an email list already established, and so sending it to the people who already are connected to us on our email list as well. And then, previous donors and things of that nature, making sure they're aware of what we're trying to do. And then we became a part of like Give 828. And then when it comes to like the challenge, because we're talking about having a clear vision, like even with the challenge, okay, we need to set some dates in place. We need to make some decisions. That's a whole nother talk that I could have. We need to make decisions so that people can understand what's happening, so that you as the CEO and the founder and the leader can understand what you're going to do. A lot of times what happens is we bottleneck on the decision. Oh, I don't know if I should do this or I should do this. Trial and error, test it out. Test it out. And then you'll know for next time. But make sure you're doing data informed decisions and not feeling informed decisions. I was telling one person, I was like, hey, we're not making this business decisions based on one person in our DM asking us to do so. Like, that's not how business work. Like, prime example, I was telling someone with Instagram. Instagram is out here posting about them redoing their logo. And nobody cared. Nobody cared. And most people was like, no one is asking for this. But the thing that we are asking for, you're not doing. And Instagram does not care that hundreds of thousands of people are asking for the same feature, or they're asking for a certain thing about the algorithm to happen. They don't care. They're not like, okay, yeah, we hear you. Let me go and fix this. Let me go and do this. No. People on Threads, we just want the voice note feature back. We want the voice note feature back on Threads. And they do not care. They do not care. So we're not making decisions based off of one person asking for the link early, or one person asking to, can we do it now? Can I have this? Can I have this feature? Can I have that? Absolutely not. And no, that's not to say that we don't make decisions based on our clients or based on the needs of our people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it has to be data driven and not emotionally driven. Okay. And so you think about your goals. What do you want enrollment to look like? What do you want the launch date to be? What do you have capacity for? And then you start thinking about the audience. What is their desired outcomes? What do they need? What is the problem and the pain point that they have? And how is the thing that you're launching or the campaign that you're doing, how does it meet that need? Okay. Because when the outcome is like fuzzy, you don't really know, you kind of just like, they just want to make more money. Okay, it's cool, but do they want to make more money and they're willing to learn something hard to do it? Do they want to make more money and they're willing to go 12 years to get it? Like, or do they want to make more money in the most simplest way and within 24 hours? Like, there's a different level of specificity, specificity. How you say that word? There's a level of specificness that you need when you're developing these outcomes and these goals. Okay. Specificity. I think it's specific. We ain't gonna stay there. Okay. And so When the outcome is fuzzy, what you'll realize, you start doing a whole bunch of random things, random tasks, random things that don't even make no sense. And then you're calling that a plan because you don't know. And so that's where people get into busy work, and then they end their week and they're like, well, I feel like I did so much, but nothing actually got done. Nothing actually got done. Okay. And so that's that. You need to have a clear vision before you start executing. The second thing is you have to map out the plan. Now, again, this is not a video of like what platforms and tools to use. How do you actually go into project management? What all are you considering? Like, this is not that, but you do need to understand, once the vision is clear, you need to map out the actual plan. And this is where someone with operations expertise come into the forefront. They can actually help you in the vision planning because they're going to help you get clear and help you make decisions faster. But especially when you come into mapping out the plan, like an operations person, a project manager can definitely support there. But here you're asking yourself, okay, what actually needs to happen for this to actually, what are the basic things that are required to happen for this launch to happen, for this event to happen? Start there. Simplicity. And then you say, okay, when does all of these things need to happen? So what needs to happen? When does it need to happen? And then who? So think about the WHs. What, when, where, who, why. Okay. Why is the vision. And then the project plan is what needs to happen. When does it need to happen? Who owns what? What has to happen first? What is dependent on somebody else? That's your dependencies. What happens first is like, what's the priority here? Because sometimes you're going to prioritize the marketing and the content aspect of it, but you didn't prioritize the communication. So people, they said they're coming to your event, but they don't even know the details, you know. And then you need to be thinking about what could prevent us from hitting the deadline. A lot of times we don't think about like a contingency plan. We don't think about what could go wrong. We don't think about like the hindrances or like the excuses that could come, like what could go wrong. And so when we don't plan for a contingency, then, you know, if something did hit the fan, now we're stuck, we're scrambling, we're like stressed out, and it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. And so, for example, I couldn't wake up today and then start figuring out, okay, who's going to lead the different locations today? That's 11 states. I wouldn't have been able to do that. Like, there had to be a plan. Registration had to happen before today. Like, we're not going today to the walks at the different locations and saying, hey, okay, yeah, if you want to register for the walk, here, register. We don't have no registration table. Simplicity. Okay. It's not one of those walks where we're like having to get permits and block off the streets and get security and stuff it's not that. Simplicity. One day will it become that? Probably. But this is the first one that we're doing, and we want to see what all can we do with the resources that we currently have. Okay. Remember, this is a fundraiser walk. It's not, oh, let me go and spend all of our budget or all of our, resources to make this happen. We're trying to raise money, not spend money. Right. And so even with the city leads, it's not today that we start talking about, hey, city leads, this is what you're going to do. Like, no, we already had to have a city lead orientation meeting. We've been sending email communications with them, following up, putting things in place way before today. They know exactly what they need to do. We've made the experience so easy for them. They don't even have to know anything. We got videos going out to them that they can share at the beginning of the walk. The survey links have been sent to them so that they can get people to fill out the survey even before they leave. We have flyers that were mailed to their nearest FedEx location so that they can pick them up and hand them out. Like, these things were already thought through and they've already happened. Even with the shirts, we like another part of the fundraiser is like, hey, if you're walking with us, go ahead and buy a shirt. Okay. Buy our merch and then wear it to support. So there can be a level of unity in our gathering. And so even with the shirts were already like, we already have shirts. It was a matter of letting people know that we have shirts and then saying, hey, if you want to guarantee that your shirt is going to come before the walk, you have to purchase it by this date. And then being on our person who is responsible for getting them printed and sent out and saying, hey, this is the timeline, you know? And so, yeah, that's also things we had to think about. The locations had to be confirmed before the day. The time that everyone is meeting up had to be confirmed before the day. These are sunset walks. And if you know anything about sunset in parks, most parks close at sunset, which means we can't start at sunset for the walk. We have to start a little bit before the sunset. So when we're finishing up our walk, the sun is setting and we're closing out. Like, we can watch the sunset in the parking lot, and we're getting in our cars and we're rolling out. We're taking our pictures, we're doing the things. And then again, communications. We couldn't just now start thinking about what communications are going out. The emails that are going out today, they've been drafted. They didn't just get drafted today. They've already been in the works. And so these are things that we're developing. And there were even with this, we kept it super simple, but there could have been another measure of us getting into automations and using AI to get this stuff done without me having to even think about communications. But the copy and stuff still had to be written. Location and time still had to be confirmed. And then, like, it could have been more automations done with this. So, say all that to say, when you have a plan mapped out on the day of your event or the day of your lunch, all you should be worrying about is the execution of that in particular. And then if there's any final adjustments that need to be made, cool. But when you plan earlier, when I was I used to what's the word? Do it start with a P? No. I condition. I used to condition with the softball team. In high school, I was gonna play softball. And so I would condition. So before it was a tryout, you had to condition. So we would literally, y'all, when I think about it, it's crazy how long we had to run. Like, why was we running from our school to the Board of Education? That's crazy. But I would condition with the softball team because I was going to try out. Ended up getting a job, so I didn't do softball. But one of the things that we had to learn was this saying of like, proper planning prevent poor performance. Proper planning prevents poor performance. And so when you plan properly, you can have a level of expectation that the output of what you're planning is going to go well. At bare minimum, it has to be decent because you plan properly. Okay. And then I'll say these last 2 points, like, when you're launching multiple things or when you're managing multiple things at once, you want to utilize these features. You want to be able to schedule what needs to be scheduled out in advance, and you want to be able to automate whatever you can ahead of time. So, for example, I told y'all I'm preparing for the Stewards This launch because it's launching next month. And with that, yesterday, I literally was writing the copy out for all of my emails. And because of the type of launch it is, I have multiple emails set for people who join the wait list. I have multiple emails set for people who are already on my email list. I have multiple emails set for people who actually join the cohort. But then I also have nurturing emails for people who don't join, but they're on my email list. So that way I'm still supporting them um, in preparation for the next cohort, if that makes sense. So yesterday I spent a lot of time writing out all of my emails, and then I was setting up my email marketing automations. So when people join the wait list, they'll automatically receive their confirmation email and next steps. Okay. And then I also had set up my automation for open enrollment and stuff like that, so people can actually have the link to enroll. But all of the emails are now written. So now all I have to do is go put them inside of my email marketing tool and schedule them out. Okay. So you have to be able to schedule and automate whatever you can ahead of time. And so your calendar, your project management system, your email platform, your CRM, your scheduling tools, depending on what you're launching, all of those things plus automations are going to carry some of the workload. And so if I'm sitting here managing 4 different launches at one point, and that doesn't even include the other things that my other clients are working on. But if I'm managing 4 things and I'm literally like chilling and not stressed out, you better understand that it's because there's some automations happening on the back end. There's some planning that has gone forth. There's some delegation of tasks and assignments. Like, you have to know those things. There's a lot of clarity around what needs to happen, who needs to do it, and when it needs to get done. And so you have to think through that. And you literally have to use the tools that you already have to carry some of the workload. Okay. And so the point of you in launch season is not to remember every email that needs to go out. You shouldn't have to. During launch season, you shouldn't have to remember every deadline. Now, you should be able to go and find what the deadlines are by clicking a couple buttons in your project management tool or on the calendar, depending on how you're setting it up. But it's not like you shouldn't be trying to, like, oh, okay, what's the deadline for this? No. No, 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 no. For example, if you use like a tool like Wix, in Wix, let's say for the coupon code, if let's say you're doing early bird pricing and you're trying to keep it simple with the tools you have. Now, in Wix, you can attach like the early bird pricing piece to a coupon code and then make it to where the deadline of early bird, you cut off the coupon code access. And then it automatically goes keep it at the regular price and no one could use the coupon code anymore. There's your early bird pricing feature right there. Keep it simple. Like, a lot of times people try to be like, okay, I need to go and I need to buy this new tool, this new software, and I need to sign up for this. No, use what you have. Keep it simple. Keep it very, very, very simple. Like, you shouldn't have to manually communicate everything. Everything, all the information, all the details and logistics do not have to be manually communicated, especially if you knew it weeks ago. Those things should be scheduled out in advance. My legs down. Those things should be scheduled out in advance. Like, we know that CEOs and founders literally become the bottleneck very easily in their business. But a way to avoid this is to use your brain to make decisions. Use your brain to make a decision, not to remember. I say this all the time when I'm talking about like processes and SOPs and all of that stuff. Like, I was literally on a call with someone. We was on a nonprofit chat, and she was like, "Girl, everything is in my head. I just have to remember all the things." What is this little piece of air doing? I have to remember all of the things, and I'm like, "No, document those things. So that's one less thing you have to think about." I did a post the other day, yesterday actually, on Instagram stories, and I was talking about execution, stewardship, and what was the other thing? Decision making. And I was like, we have to document these things because decision making is not a innate or natural skill that people just have, right? So many people have a very hard time when it comes to decision making. And it bottlenecks the company, it bottlenecks launches and all of the things. Like your systems have to hold the information, because I lost my point on where I was going with this IG story. Let me see if I can pull it up before it goes out. Let me see if I can show y'all. Okay. So I was talking about, oh, that's where I was going. Because I was talking about, have you considered that your first hire might not need to be an assistant? Because most people, soon as they ready to hire, they be like, okay, I'm ready to hire a virtual assistant. And I used to be a virtual assistant, so no shade to them. But I don't think people understand, because they're trying to remember everything. They don't understand that if they can offload all of the things that they have to remember, or even limit the decisions that they have to make, now they can free up their brain for the decisions that requires them. And so for me in particular, what I was saying on here, I was like, my first hire, it wasn't someone in my business. Like my first hire wasn't a virtual assistant. It wasn't my operations implementation assistant that I have on my team now. It wasn't that. My first hire was a homeschool teacher, because my children are homeschooled. And I knew if I wanted to grow and scale my business, there was no way that I was going to be able to do so while also homeschooling my children while my husband is at his job. It just wasn't going to be possible. So I had to find a homeschool teacher. That was my first hire to help with that piece. Okay. And then after that, I was like, okay, because now I have more capacity. And then, but I work from home. And so I'm like, now I need to declutter my mind, because it's a lot going on. My children are homeschooled, so they home too, which means my house is a wreck. Toys are everywhere. Okay. And so I said, okay, now I need to hire a cleaner. And I need this cleaner to come either weekly or bi-weekly, so my house can be clean. And that can be one less thing I need to think and worry about. And so that was my second person. I hired a cleaner. And then I started to hire for my business. That's when I hired a team of people who could support with administration things, research, who could support me with like business resources. They helped me build a lot of websites. They also help a lot with client delivery. And then I hired my operations implementation specialist. And by the time I hired her, my business was doing 16K months, because now I had more capacity. I had someone who could also do a lot of the client delivery. And I actually had booked a client, and this person literally took the lead on the whole thing. I was there for like the strategizing and stuff like that, the communication between the client, but this person basically took the lead. And then I was telling them how like my next hire probably won't even be like someone else on my team. It'll probably be somebody helping with meal preps and personal training or something like that. And so now, because I'm making those types of decisions, I can now use my brain for the decisions that's actually needed. Like, let me tell y'all, as a wife and a mom, like everybody's always asking me, what's for dinner? I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I don't want to have to think about that. I don't want to have to think about it. As your family and stuff begins to grow, like, and you're like a whole business owner trying to manage a business with multiple clients and team members, you do not want to think about what's for dinner. Like, yeah, you can come up with a plan. I used to do this. We used to meal prep. But now I'm like, okay, I need somebody else to do that. Like sometimes I literally tell my husband, I'm like, I don't want to think about it. You do it. Whatever you decide, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Can't be picky when you let somebody else decide for you. Y'all, I don't know what's happening. Okay, let me get up off here because we're about to be on here for an hour. Okay, my last point I'll say is organization gives you the room to respond when something changes. When things are organized, when things are properly planned, when the vision is clear and you know who's responsible for what, and things are very organized, very succinct, it gives you the room to pivot. It gives you the room to make changes. It gives you room to be flexible. So, of course, with launches and campaigns, last minute things come up, right? You have issues with the tech infrastructure when you're trying to go live. Some like you realize like, LinkedIn, you can't actually go live from LinkedIn. You got to have a literally. This happened to us the day before. I did a Build Without Burnout operations edition on LinkedIn. And so the day before, we actually did like a test run. It was like the night before. We did a test run for all of the people who was going to be on there with me. And we realized that no one knew because none of us had did LinkedIn Live before. And on there, we was like, wait, can you not go live on LinkedIn like you can on all the other platforms? And no, you got to do a third party. So literally, we're on this call, and I'm literally having to set up StreamYard to be able to go live on LinkedIn. We eventually got it together, but imagine if we wouldn't have. And the only reason why we did that test run the day before, because one of the people who was joining, one of my speakers, she was like, "I'm so nervous. Can we like get on and kind of test through everything?" Thank you, Jesus, because we would have been on there ready to go live and stuck, because it was like a 15 to 20 minute thing of me having to set it up so we can all actually do it and go live together. And so it would have been a delay in us doing the live in the time that we said we were going to do it. Okay, so back to why I missed the live, because that's what we're here for. So again, yesterday I made a decision. I could go and force myself to go live last night at 11 p.m. when I literally thought about it because I had just put my son down. Or I could be like, I'm just gonna make this up today, right? And so I think it also, because if y'all don't know, I'm at this point where I'm like, okay, let me go live on YouTube, because if that's the strategy that works, let's work it, right? Because who trying to get 8,000 watch hours? And so I'm like, let me just go live on YouTube. And then, so last night I could have beat myself up about it, like, oh my goodness, I missed, it was only day 3 and I already started missing them. Oh, I'm just not gonna do it no more. Like I could have gave up, right? But who got time to do that? Because yesterday was a very productive and successful day with all of the things that I've been managing. And if I would have beat myself up for it, I would have missed out on the gratitude of, wow, we exceeded our launch goal. I would have missed out on the thing of like, wow, she just hit 299 waitlist signups on her challenge. Like I would have been, you know what I'm saying? Like I got my child down to sleep before I got sleepy. So much to celebrate, but meanwhile, I could have been being myself, oh, I didn't go live. But I was like, a boundary also, like, it's 11 p.m. I'm not about to get up and go live. We'll do it tomorrow. So here I am, bright and early in the morning. Not bright and early, but in the morning, doing this live. Still got stuff to do because it's event day today. And then who knows? I might go live again since I'm gonna be outside in the bright sun. And so we'll see. Hi. I'm actually closing up. I've been on here for about an hour and 2 minutes. And I've been on here talking about how to manage multiple launches. So if you're a business owner, I'll be back later today because I'm actually going to be talking about mapping the touch points in your client journey. But today I was talking about managing multiple launches, just giving you some of the behind the scenes things of what it's like managing a fundraising campaign that's happened across multiple states today. And then also managing a launch for a 30-day trading easy challenge while also working on my own launches in the background. And so that's what I've been talking about. I've been on here yapping for an hour. And yeah, again, like I said, later today, I'm going to get back into the client journey series that I've been on. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, so if I'm Ebony, I am an operations manager and consultant. I've done tech VA work. So depending on what you mean by tech, I do systems and automations, back end operations for business owners and nonprofit founders. So when it comes to like techie things, when it comes to launches, yes, I know the back end system setup things of that. Is that what you mean by tech? Okay, yeah. Yeah, so nice to meet you, Snick. Snick. I will be back on later today, but I am about to start preparing for my client's event that is happening in a few hours. And okay, Sriram. Let me not even mess it up. Okay, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Subscribe to my channel. I'll be going live again later today. And I'm helping business owners set up their client journeys so that they can build excellent customer experiences, so that they can maximize their time, scale their impact, and increase their revenue. I'm Ebony again. I do operations management and consulting, and I help my clients get clear and get things done. I'm going to help them execute on every level, and I'm in the USA. So, yeah, nice to meet you all, and I will see y'all tomorrow or later today, actually.